Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me clearly. We just wanted to put this together just so you've got a bit of an idea for our option choices next year before we have our Year 9 Parents' Evening, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. So this is just your opportunity just to see how we do things at Rivermead, what that looks like for Year 10 and Year 11, and those choices that our learners have got. At Rivermead, we're very unique in the sense that as a special school, we're the only special school in Medway that actually offer a full range of GCSEs in Year 11. So that's really important to us because we're thinking about life skills and what our students need to succeed in the future. So I hope that you find with your children that there is a range of choices and that there's something for everybody in that sense. So I will leave it over to Mr. Nolan and Miss Hayhow Meads to take it from here.
Hello everyone. Mrs. Meads will probably scoot in so you can see her here. For those of you that don't know me, you should all know me by now, but my name is Mr. Nolan. I'm the assistant head teacher at Rivermead.
And I'm Mrs. Hayhow Meads. I am the school Senko, and for a number of years I've also taught English here. So I've been teaching Key Stage 4 for a number of years.
So what I thought we'd start by doing is just going over our curriculum intent. So I just took a few snippets of some of the key points of our curriculum intent for our key across the school, really. So at Rivermead, we support our learners to gain knowledge, skills, attitudes and values needed to achieve so that they can successfully access life's opportunities.
Okay. So in Key Stage 4, we obviously, one of the things we like to do is we do look at the national curriculum, but we extend it to include qualification courses, be that in GCSEs, BTech or entry level, depending on the child's personal learning journey.
So we provide a bespoke curriculum, which is broad, balanced and inclusive.
We aim to also provide learners with a wide range of opportunities, so developing independence, creative thinking skills, life skills, all of those wonderful things.
So our curriculum is really well designed with logical sequencing and follow our mastery approach.
Okay, so with that mastery approach, which Mr. Nolan just mentioned, it's about getting that depth of knowledge and that true understanding of those skills, and particularly for, you know, not just for the subjects, but for moving on in life.
So through our curriculum offer, we intend to raise our learners' aspirations by equipping them with knowledge and tools to flourish in further education and employment.
I know that's quite scary to think of nowadays, sort of thinking about post-16 when your child's in Year 9. But we have to, and I'm sure you understand as parents of young people with special educational needs, we do have to think of those long-term goals. But we do our best to create an environment which builds our well-rounded young individuals and lifelong learners who can make valuable contributions to society.
So what we've got here is our Year 10 curriculum map almost. So these are the subjects our Year 9s moving into Year 10s will follow next year. So we've got SEAL, which is our well-being. We do our 5 steps to well-being during this time. That's from 8:45 till 9 in the mornings, Monday to Friday.
Yeah. So the next one, English language and English literature, we do offer the double GCSE. We obviously can have individual discussions with you about alternatives if that is what is needed. And we do also offer entry level for those who are not GCSE ready. That will take up 5 periods a week because it is, like I said, double GCSE.
The next one down, we've got maths. The example that we use is Edexcel, and again we have 5 periods a week for this. The way in which that works, you depending upon the abilities of your learner, they may access the higher level or perhaps the foundation level. Each level has 3 different papers, and each paper is about 1 hour and 30 minutes. I think there's 1 non-calculator, and then for the other 2 you can use calculator.
Okay, so science, and this is a slight change on previous years, but we're offering combined science, which is double GCSE. Again, it's with Edexcel. That will take up 4 periods a week, and that will cover biology, chemistry, and physics within that, but it will be equivalent to 2 GCSEs.
Next, we've got our food design. The example that we use is AQA for this. We'll be offering 2 periods a week for this, and the way it works, you've got 50% exam and 50% coursework, with 100 marks for each, and it's been a very successful course that we've been running for a number of years now.
So the next one's philosophy and ethics. That is like our core RE. So even, you know, with things like philosophy and ethics and PSHE and staying healthy, we have to offer these as a core subject throughout Key Stage 4. So while they're not accredited, that is still our opportunity to sort of, you know, discuss RE, philosophy, ethics, and all those wonderful things. And that's once a week.
We've got a life skills program that we tend to do on a Friday afternoon, and that works towards their ASDAN qualification. And that comes in 3 different strands. We have bronze, silver, and gold. And because of the amount we try and fit into our year 10 curriculum to ensure that it's balanced and broad, we offer 1 period of that a week.
And I'll just quickly mention staying healthy and PSHE. Staying healthy is essentially what we normally call PE. And that will be at least 2 periods a week. So everyone still gets that exercise through Key Stage 4. And the same with PSHE, as I mentioned just now with philosophy and ethics, that is a requirement. And sometimes, depending on the learners, we have then been able to enter them for preparation for working life, which is a level 1 or level 2 AQA course, which is something we could look into if they have made a good amount of progress for an additional qualification.
And then we're left with our option blocks. The way that we've worked that out, we've got option block A, B, and C, and the exam boards differ depending upon the subject. So let's have a look at that. So option block A, we've got the choice between art or physical education. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because what I've asked is for our members of staff, they've created wonderful videos for us that they're going to, so you don't have to listen to me talk all the time. They've created some videos that they're going to talk through their subjects for us. Option block B, we've got photography and enterprise. And option block C, we will have college or history or sports leaders. So let's move forwards and start with physical education with Mr. Xavier talking through what this is about.
Let us know if you can't hear it.
Hi, I'm Mr. Xavier, Head of PE at Rivermead School, and I'm just going to give you a quick introduction of the option of GCSE PE in physical education. The exam board that you take it in is Edexcel. Why take it physical education as a GCSE option? There are lots of reasons, some of which are it's a great course that gives learners an understanding of healthy, active lifestyles. It gives learners an opportunity to take part in a mix of practical and theory assessments. It improves knowledge of anatomy and physiology and nutrition that can supplement and help with other subjects such as biology and food technology. Learners will take part in a mix of weekly practical and theory lessons, and currently there are 3 lessons a week altogether designated to GCSE PE. So in terms of assessment breakdown, the theory aspect, you'll be assessed at the end of the course doing exam paper 1, which is fitness and body systems. Topics covered anatomy, physiology, movement analysis, physical training and use of data. Exam paper 2, topics covered are health, fitness and well-being, sports psychology and social cultural influences. The exams combined represent 60% of your final grade. The next part of the course is your personal exercise plan. This is where learners take part in fitness assessments at the beginning, then identify an area they want to improve on in their chosen sport. Then they plan a 6-week training program that will improve a specific component of fitness. For example, if they wanted to improve the muscular endurance, then they would do that for 6 weeks and they would write the plan up and it would be progressive, and that would take 10% off their grade. In terms of the practical assessment breakdown, It takes 30% of the final grade. There are 3 sports that each learner is assessed in. One must be a team sport and one must be an individual sport. The third can be taken from either group. Learners take part in several sports on site during the course, such as handball, badminton. If you see the picture next to it, that's Avenue Tennis, which is a place where we take our learners to do badminton off-site. Table tennis and boxercise, which is a non-contact fitness version of boxing. Learners who compete in a sport outside of school can also use video footage from that. So if they're keen competing swimming outside of school, or horse riding, or any other sport, they can use video footage from that. As well as practical lessons, there'll be an opportunity for learners to travel off-site, restrictions permitting, for some of their lessons. This helps develop independence and also gives learners an appetite for places they can visit outside of their school time. The idea is that this will encourage learners to continue to lead a healthy, active lifestyle when they leave school. GCSE physical education. It's a good option for learners that want to develop their theoretical and practical knowledge of the human body, nutrition and active lifestyles. I'm Mr. Xavier. Hope you enjoyed that quick introduction, and see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Okay, so next we have, if this works, come on. Do it this way.
Okay.
So now we've got Mr. Wall talking about GCSE art and design and also photography. So he's talking about both. The reason being is they're very, very similar, the way that the course is made up, but he'll comment on those during his video.
Hi there, so this is Mr. Wall, and I'm just going to go through a review. Just a brief summary about the AQA GCSE Art and GCSE Photography courses that are available at Rivermead. So the qualification itself is accredited by the exam board AQA, and the course is a linear course, meaning that learners will submit all coursework and examination work at the end of the GCSE course. So essentially, all the work is collated over the 2 years from year 10 and year 11, and is then marked and verified by myself, another member of staff, and also the examiners that come in to look at work. The course is assessed over 4 areas, evidence from 2 parts of the learner's work they submit by the end of this course. Those 4 areas that are assessed is AO1, which is about artists and photographers that are researched, AO2, which is about experimenting with materials, techniques and processes, AO3, which is about developing ideas, and then finally AO4, which is their final piece of work. So these areas will consist of AO1, which looks at the work of other artists and photographers. AO2 is more about trying different things out, recording what you have done and reflecting on the work that you have completed. AO3 is just showing different ideas for a final piece of work. And then AO4 is about developing and creating that final piece of work for the project. So these areas of assessment will be evidenced through the use of the students' sketchbooks, which is used for documenting experiments, research and recording ideas and other pieces of work related to the project that they're working on. The final piece of work is also another piece that is accredited, and this is usually takes the form of the final piece they develop in year 11. So the sketchbook will account for 60% of the final grade assessed at the end of the course. So the majority of what you're assessed on is actually based on your ideas and your experiments and what things you generate during your time in the project or projects. The exam piece will account for 40% of the final grade assessed at the end of the course, so the final exam only accounts for 40% of the actual final grade. So the exam itself, learners will be given a set of exam questions. These usually take the form of 7 questions. Learners will pick one question to respond to, so the learners themselves only have to respond to one question from the exam paper. And the learners will have a set amount of time to prepare and will have a 10-hour exam to create their final piece of work. That's not including the additional learning time given to those with an EHCP. So usually there's a lot of myths that come with art GCSE. One of them is usually asked, that I'm asked, is art is an easy GCSE. Well, this varies greatly, usually on your own ability artistically, but also your own opinion. However, I'd like to point out there is a great deal of work to be completed, mostly from the portfolio of work. Considering this is your 60% of your grade, that's why a lot of time is put into your portfolio of work, the sketchbook side of your course. This is the most time-consuming part of the course, and you will be asked and looked upon to actually complete some of this work at home. The other one I'm usually asked is, art GCSE is a worthless qualification. Well, in essence, no, it's not. Art is a worthwhile qualification as it shows skills in creative thinking, problem solving, technical skills, and understanding for expression and culture within society. The art industry within the UK at the moment is worth £3.6 billion of the actual gross income of the country. Your post-16 options, this depends really on what you wish to pursue later on after you finish your Year 11 year at school. Most learners who wish to pursue art or photography after GCSE follow on to further learning, whether this be at sixth form, college, and eventually many will go on to university. There are many career options within the creative industry where art or photography qualifications are highly valued. But also, if you're unsure, further qualifications and options can always be discussed with myself and other staff at Rivermead. So that's the end of my presentation. Obviously, if there are any further questions, I look forward to any of those questions that you may wish to ask. And hopefully, you will look upon taking on this course, and I shall see you soon.
Okay, so that was GCSE Art and Photography. I know Mr. Wall is available in the chat. He said that he's going to be with us tonight, which is fantastic. Next, we've got Enterprise. So let me start with that one.
Malik, and I'm going to be talking to you about BTech Enterprise. We will cover the following: an introduction into BTech Tech Awards, information about how the course is assessed, and overview of the units that are covered in BTech Enterprise. So what are the BTech Tech Awards? They are a level 1 and level 2 qualification designed for Key Stage 4 to be studied at year 10 and 11, and they sit alongside GCSEs. They're the same size as the GCSE, and the aim of the qualification is to give a student a taste of what enterprise is like and the skills and confidence to take their next steps. So each Tech Award is made up of 3 different components or units, and they each look at different things. So component 1 will explore the sector, component 2 is to develop knowledge, skills and best practices, and component 3 is to apply knowledge, skills and best practices. And I'll go into a bit more information about that later on. So how is the course assessed? The Tech Awards have skill-based assessments to test knowledge and understanding. Each assessment draws on real-life scenarios so students can demonstrate the knowledge, skills and best practice behaviours, and also apply these knowledge, skills and behaviours within a context. Lastly, there's a written test based on company finances that students will do near the end of the course. So a quick overview of the units. The first one is exploring enterprises, where students will be looking at different local enterprises to see how do these enterprises differ from one another, what are the characteristics, what are the differences in terms of size, number of employees, and also to look further into the skills held by the entrepreneurs who have created these companies. so that they can reflect on their own skills to see where they need to develop. The second unit is for planning for and pitching an enterprise activity. For this unit, students will actually create their own idea for an activity, which they will need to plan and pitch to learners and teachers. And the final unit is promotion and finance for enterprise, where learners will look at financial documents and see how they can use those documents to monitor and improve performance of an enterprise. That was just a quick rundown of BTech Enterprise. Its real-world application allows students to make use of knowledge and skills in a practical way that doesn't always rely on exams. I hope you make a choice for enterprise, and I hope to see your child next year. Okay, take care, bye.
Thank you, Mr. Malik. A very upbeat presentation. Love that. Next, we've got sports leaders. So far, we've looked at the option choice block A and option block choice B. Now we're moving into option block C, where we have the choice of college, sports leaders, and history. So, sports leaders.
We've all been sat where you are now, wondering what's round the corner in your education and your career. But what's next? Employers, colleges and universities always ask for a CV with the usual professional skills and experience. What you need to include is something unique about you, something that sets you apart from everyone else. Sports Leaders UK qualifications are a great way of learning life skills and getting something on your CV. There's a wide range of qualifications and awards, so there's a course for everyone. But don't take my word for it. Here's how these qualifications helped a few of our sports leaders from across the UK.
I had always enjoyed leading sessions with younger people in sport, but I never realised how good it could look on my CV. Sports Leaders UK helped turn the hours I was already committing to into a real qualification. I learned how to be organised and communicate well with others, which helped me with my college work. Being a sports leader has boosted my grades, and along with the 30 UCAS points I got for completing my level 3 qualification, I managed to get into my first choice university. Sports Leaders UK helped me become much more qualified, and not just on paper.
I've always loved helping people, and since I was little I wanted to join the emergency services, but so do a lot of people. My CV was a bit bare and I needed something to help me stand out from the crowd. The volunteering opportunities I came across through being a sports leader have given me lots of experience working with people in the community and really added to my CV. Speaking about this in my interview really helped me get onto the training course. I know I can do anything if I put my mind to it. I could even climb Everest right now. Volunteering in my community opened my eyes to what goes on in everyone else's lives, and I became more community minded.
I always wanted to make something of myself, but I was too shy to really make myself stand out. I needed to come out of my shell. Doing my dance leadership qualifications with Sports Leaders UK gave me a really good experience in being organised and planning my time. Before being a sports leader, I hadn't really done much that I could put on my CV. I was worried that I wouldn't be accepted onto my engineering apprenticeship. Becoming a sports leader gave me those little extra things on my CV that made me more employable, along with a huge confidence boost. I felt like I could wrestle a bear, but I'm glad I stuck to my plan of becoming an engineer, not a bear wrestler. It's a bit safer.
One thing that everyone says about getting a job is that employers want experience. But how are you supposed to get experience if you can't get a job? Well, I got mine by volunteering. I volunteered as part of my Sports Leaders UK qualification and learned how to plan and organise. The skills really helped me get my first job out of college. Sports Leaders UK helped me to teach younger people about staying active, helping them with numeracy and literacy, and improving my skills at the same time. Even though I'm not sporting, by being a sports leader I became more experienced and I found it easier getting a job.
I remember being sat in school and my teachers kept telling me I had to decide what I wanted to do when I left school, but all I wanted to do was play on my computer. I didn't know what I wanted to do because I didn't know what I was good at. I did an award with Sports Leaders UK through school that took me a few hours, and it didn't matter that I wasn't sporty. It gave me loads of confidence and made me realise I loved being outside and helping other people. Plus I became more ambitious at the same time. It even helped me with my everyday little things like babysitting my little brother. Forget my computer, my real life skills levelled up.
I was never really good at school stuff, and my dream was always to be a professional athlete, but I knew I needed something to fall back on. Doing my sport leadership qualification made me realise that there are so many different options to get a job in the world of sport, and the people I met opened up so many doors for me. The leadership skills I learned helped my playing. I became even sportier.
So, you've heard the stories about how a qualification from Sports Leaders UK can help you become more. Now, who wants to be a sports leader?
Okay, so now we have history.
This is a video about why your child should choose to study history at Rivermead School. What do we study? History is the study of the past. In Rivermead, this means that our learners will look at specific periods of history, study them, and come to conclusions about those periods of time. We are currently studying Anglo-Saxon and Norman England, British America, Empire and Revolution, Weimar and Nazi Germany, a themed topic of crime and punishment in Britain. There are other topics we can study, depending on what our learners want. Aims of history. History is a very academic subject which appeals to learners who like to investigate and deep dive into topics. It is an English-heavy subject which will make learners write a lot of detailed information and write complex answers. There is a lot of reasoning and assessing to do in this subject. The aim is to make our learners begin to question information and sources, hopefully developing their ability to understand and perceive the world around them. If they go to university, a history degree can be useful in a number of areas such as journalism, law, business, and politics. If they choose to stay on in history, they can become a teacher or perhaps even a proper historian. Why history is amazing. I know that for a lot of people, history is a fascinating subject in which they get to explore strange times in humanity's past. History can be dark, dismal, and bleak. However, sometimes it can have fantastic moments of comedy, a reflection of humanity itself. Some of our learners benefit so much from history as they begin to put together the pieces of what is happening today. History cannot predict the future, but it can paint a picture of the present. Why should you choose history? History is a great choice of subject for learners who like to absorb lots of new information and express their opinions. The classes are friendly and learners have a great time discussing topics which interest them. It's a good subject for going into higher academic education. The sheer amount of writing will prepare them well. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
This is a video about...
We don't want to listen to that again, sorry. No, Mr. Bannister, that was fantastic. So that is history. Lastly, what we want to talk about is college. So another choice that's available. We can only go on what we had last year. But we allow our learners to access college on a Friday morning, and the courses sort of change from term 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. So we have last year beauty, brickwork, animal care and art and design, and catering and engineering. But once these choices have been confirmed, we'll send a letter out and allow you to make your choices.
So with our options, our option C block, it's on a Friday morning, and you either would choose GCSE history for the whole 2 years, or you would choose college and sports leaders for each of the other years.
Correct.
You could do college for 2 years, but you might end up repeating the same courses. So when we say college, we're talking about Mid-Kent College. Our students would go to Mid-Kent College, all being well. They would have their own ID badges, and they would undertake a carousel of foundation skills level a taster as to some of the courses they might be interested in following for post 16. So I just wanted to make that clear to people because it is quite a different way compared to the other options.
Correct, yeah.
And just to add, you know, we do have a provision at post 16, so it's part of that transition, getting our learners ready for post 16 education.
Absolutely. So this is going to work. Just randomly stops working, my little button. Let's do that instead. Oh my goodness, come on.
So I don't know if anyone's got any questions that they want to sort of ask or pop in the chat. We've got a couple of minutes before the end of the session. So if anyone's got any questions, you can either unmute yourself and ask them, or I can just monitor the chat.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for the information. We found it very useful. Just wondered whether we could have, I know parent evening is coming around soon, but would we be able to meet with individual teachers to discuss what they think about?
Yes, during parents' evening, you can raise this, and there's definitely a topic of conversation during parents' evening.
Okay, so I've got a question from Helen, which is the minimum number of GCSEs which can be chosen. So you would do English literature, English language, maths, double science, so that's 5. Then you would choose arts or
Art or PE.
PE, thank you. Then you would choose
Photography
photography or BTech Enterprise, which is the equivalent of GCSE. So essentially it's 7. If you then choose GCSE history, that would make it 8.
Correct.
Okay.
Are there any further questions? If, like me, I often join webinars and I always think of questions afterwards. I'll go, I should have asked that question. You're more than welcome to email the office account and we can get back to you, or bring questions with you parents' evening so we can answer those there. But I am very aware that we've got about 2 minutes left on Zoom. But if you do have any questions, raise them on the chat. But thank you very much for joining today. I hope it's been really useful. Yeah, we will also send out this recording and you get to see all my errors that I made.
He didn't mean that.
No,
I just
didn't
wanted
mean
to
that.
say, you know, both Miss Hayhameen to Mr. Nolan have done exceptionally well tonight. It's a new way of working and trying to get this all done virtually. And I've said to him he's not allowed to apologise for things. So that's the first time today, second time today. So yeah, well done.
No, thank you very much for joining. And yeah, as I said, any questions, let us know.
Okay, I'll just check the message. They're all thank you. So
Lovely. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well done. Thank you very much.
Good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.